Hello everyone and welcome back. And it has become somewhat of an annual trend to make an end of the year video just before New Year's Eve. And guess what? The year 2018 is almost finished. So here I am going to tell you what's going to happen next year, and we are going to do a little recap of the previous year. Now, if you think that my village here sounds a little bit like a war zone in the background, that's because people are already throwing fireworks. Anyways, I just wanted to thank all of you for following me and subscribing to me. I really appreciate it. And we're going to talk about what's coming up. Last but not least, I would like to wish all of you a happy new year and a happy 2019. Even though it's maybe 2 days early. Probably won't be making a video before then. First of all, the most important thing that's going to come up next year is, I've said it many times and I will say it again, I will be working in Cambodia for 2 months in February and March. And I will be working with insects. I have been hired as a consultant for a butterfly farm there, and it's my job to investigate the local Saturniidae fauna and also breed them in captivity for the butterfly farm, because they need some help with breeding them, and they found me. And this also marks an important change in my lifestyle, because so far most of what I have been doing and what you have been following online, this whole moth hobby of mine, has been just that, a hobby. However, this moment, it marks the moment that it has become a job instead of a hobby. And that's a pretty important moment in my life. Because, you know how eager I was all my life to work with insects, but it has been a struggle. First of all, I tried studying biology. I have a background. However, I basically, excuse the language, but I fucked up my studies. I didn't make it. So that means that I still have no paper. So it's very hard to get a job that involves insects, because most of them are academic positions in entomology. But it feels like I have taken an alternative route, which is a very strange one, because I just kept uploading so many pictures and videos online of my insects that I just kept getting a lot of exposure on social media. And honestly, this exposure has been a great tool for me, and has generated a small stream of, well, we can call it income, I guess. Basically job offers, exposure, things like that. So I'm glad for all of you who have been here for me on this journey and who followed me from somebody who started out as just an amateur, who kept breeding so many moths that it magically turned into a job. It's just a funny thing to reflect upon, really, because I don't think there are many people out there who are so intensively occupied with their hobby that they can turn it into a job. It's one thing to study biology and maybe get a good degree and working experience, but it's another thing to post so many insects online that people want to hire you. That's really funny how things went. But I'm glad for it, of course. It's going to be a unique opportunity. But it's also going to have some implications for YouTube, because for the following 3 months there's going to be a serious lack of content, and I apologize for this, guys. But I hope you can understand, because I will be in the middle of nowhere in a developing country where probably internet is not that great. Most of the time I will be in the middle of nowhere doing expeditions, perhaps into the jungle or working on the farm. And I just don't feel like editing many and uploading many things there. It's basically a waste of time and work of what's supposed to be the time of my life, perhaps. I am going to film a lot there, and I've also said this many times, but it's important for you to remember this, so all of you will stay tuned. But when I return, you can expect to have many videos. I'm going to take many memory cards when I travel, and basically I'm going to fill all of them. I return with memory cards filled with photos and videos of my experience. Sorry, I have a flu, I have a cold, and it happens every time at this time of the year. There's also going to be some big changes to my channel. First of all, I've ordered a new camera. All my content so far has been filmed with a very old Sony digital camera that it's probably more than 10 years old. At some point, not many people noticed it, but some people did. But at some point this year I did get a different camera because the other one broke. But it's basically still an old camera. I switched my old camera for another old camera basically because I was cheap. But now I have the opportunity to go to the tropics myself. I didn't want to do it cheaply and I wanted to go there with some professional equipment. So I guess you can all expect an upgrade in the video quality, really. It's going to be a Sony PowerShot G7 Mark II. It's not a top grade camera, but it's worth about 450 euro. And I agree, the price doesn't necessarily say anything about the quality, but in comparison, the old thing I'm filming with right now is probably worth like 50 euro or something. It's really this old crappy thing. So that's going to be definitely, you're going to notice the improvement in the images I'm going to make, because basically my technology is going to be updated with, well, a 10-year time span. And I will also be able to film time lapses. It's also a good camera for vlogging, macro videos, etc. So that's going to be exciting, and I'm not going to use it yet. In fact, I've already ordered it. I could film it with it probably next week, but I'm not going to, because I want to mark the moment I return to my own country as a new start, a new beginning, when I return with many videos that are probably very high quality. So I hope all of you will enjoy that. Let's see what else. You've probably noticed that there are playlists now on my channel. If you want to find older content, go take a look at the playlist. I sorted everything in individual playlists. And I'm also starting to categorize my content. You've probably seen my new experiment called Drawer of the Week, or the thing called Moth Cycles. This is like episodical content that once in a while, when I feel like it, I will upload a new episode of it. And that's going to be another change as well, because before this, I filmed whatever I felt like filming, and I uploaded it randomly without any second thoughts or editing or any common themes. That's going to change. I'm going to make playlists and episodic content. I'm going to continue the series Drawer of the Week, but there will also be many new series. Sorry. It really bothers me right now. I have like a throat ache and flu and this and that. You know it. I hate winter. I'm also going to shift the focus away from butterflies and moths. No, please don't be scared, okay? I'm so obsessed with them. I'm never going to stop filming them, but I'm also going to add some extra content. Now, one new series that I'm preparing is about invasive animals and plants. And next year I'm going to join some work groups with biologists and volunteers in the Netherlands that are dedicated to removing exotic plants and animals from the wild. And I will be there to film them and to show you the damage they do in the wild and what's being done to control them. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious, because I'm importing massive numbers of exotic animals and exotic insects and showing how cool and fun they are, but I've never really shown you the drawback and the potential harm that these species can do. And I think some of you that live in Australia or in the tropics like Brazil, Indonesia, or maybe even the United States are frustrated that you cannot import so many exotic insects because of laws and legislation. But you have to understand these laws are here for a good reason. So and I don't only want to promote the fun side of things, I also want to promote you the bad side, the harm, the damage that's being done, and the responsibility we need to have as breeders. So I'm probably next year going to start with invasive crayfish, invasive plants like the Japanese knotweed. I don't know if that's the proper name for it, but you probably know that one. Prunus serotina. It has really overgrown some forests in the Netherlands. So I'm going to, basically I'm going into the wild and filming things for you. I'm also going to travel in nature and show you some species in the Netherlands that live here in the wild. I breed a lot of species. I probably breed like 50 or 60 butterflies and moth species per year. That's really insane amounts. Yeah, I mean, all of you are here to see it firsthand. But I think I neglected the wild animals. I mean, it's fun to breed them, but sometimes we tend to forget the fact that they are wild animals, and not just fun things to breed in captivity. So, and the Netherlands has some very cool species. Okay, it's not a tropical country. We don't have giant atlas moths. We don't have stinging deadly caterpillars. But we do have some very nice Palearctic butterflies and moths with interesting ecology. So I'm going to show you that firsthand. Going into nature and vlog there, basically. So yeah, that's probably one of the most significant changes you'll see. More variation in content, more playlist episodic content, and a better camera. And perhaps, I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I'm optimistic really, because this is basically just a turning point where my hobby is magically turning into a job, which is bizarre, but it's very cool. And I think maybe there will be more opportunities in the future, not just this Cambodia thing. There's also a chance that I may return there more often. Of course, I'm going to do my best. They have to like my work first. I mean, if I'm basically useless, I don't think they want to invite me again. But I think it's also a chance that maybe a long-term thing where I perhaps return there every year to help. So yeah, that's going to perhaps mark a big shift in my life. I also hope to do a few interviews in the Netherlands with biologists. I also hope to do a few meetups with fans that live in the area that followed me for years, but I never got to meet in real life. If you live in the Netherlands and you want to show me around in nature and you have a cool species that you would like to see on my YouTube, just contact me, okay? I will be there, I'll show up, I'll bring my camera, we will look for it in the wild and try to film it. I think it would also be cool to film species like vipers, lizards, owls. I mean, the Netherlands has a few cool things that could be highlighted here. Also invasive species, because that's also going to be the emphasis of my new series. And just some random vlogging like this, basically. And I think we did a good job in 2018, because the amount of subscribers has more or less doubled. I mean, okay, we're still a small channel. We have like 3,000 subscribers. That's not a lot, okay? But if you consider that about a year ago we had like 1,000, then it's starting to make sense. I mean, if it starts continuing at this rate, I think in 1 or 2 years we'll reach 10,000 subscribers. To me, it's not even that unthinkable. We are already over 1/3 on the way there. And basically my channel went from like 1,000 to 3,000 subscribers in 1 year. If we can do that, we can reach 10,000 in no time. So last but not least, I'm also struggling to set up some good crowdfunding. Oh, by the way, if you are a patron and you're watching this, thank you very much for your support. It has really helped me prepare my equipment for Cambodia that I will use for filming and trapping insects. The research I'm doing there is going to be very useful for the environment there and the people of Cambodia who are trying to conserve the forests there that are being cut down. So, but I really still want to rework my crowdfunding platform, because I feel like I want to make something cool that I can exclusively offer to patrons. And I've been thinking about making, for example, exclusive videos for Patreon. But and other benefits and rewards, such as eggs and cocoons in return for donations. But to do that, I need to think of a very concrete thing. Like, I have to set up this framework and think of several layers of benefits. And I was also working on some ebooks and guides, but sometimes I struggle to find time for it, because I'm also writing for my website and for my research and for online media, social media, and this and that, and all of it can add up together with work and become a big headache. But I'm still going to pull it off. when I find the time for it. So that's basically it. Is there anything else I would like to say that's relevant to YouTube? I think that's about... I think that basically covers it. So maybe I want to tell you a New Year's message, but I think we can find another time for that. Oh yeah, one more thing. There's I'm also going to do a YouTube series where I review one scientific paper about insects once in a while. And that could be interesting or groundbreaking or basically what things that boggle the mind or are bizarre and captivating. It's because I want to bridge the gap between science and what I call the common man. And I don't mean this in a negative way, because I consider myself to be the common man. And I'm not an academic, you should know that. And sometimes I really struggle to find the sources that I like, because we are expected to pay a lot of money just to read a single publication or find a single piece of information. But a lot of information we get about insects and biology in general, it comes from the media. And the media basically spins it in a stupid way for stupid people to understand. Well, the sources are out there, but hard to get for people like us. So I'm going to download scientific papers. They could be taxonomical, ecological. For example, somebody suggested to me a paper that shows that dominant, more aggressive crayfish are more resistant to alcohol than passive crayfish. Think about that one and the implications it has. And things like these, this science is really fun. It's fun to do commentary on it. It's fun to read it and learn something together, which has real scientific value. Also going to be a new YouTube series of mine. Probably going to start this project when I return to my own country in 3 months' time. Yes, I know it's a long time, guys, but I guess you'll just have to wait. This is just basically a teaser of things to come. Now there's also my website, which I'm going to add new care sheets to. I'm working on a website about the hawk moths of the Netherlands. I'm working on a big database of all the species I've ever photographed. And I'm working on care sheets for breedingbutterflies.com, my hobby website, which is a little bit informal. Whew, we have a lot to do, really. Anyways, Happy New Year, guys. I appreciate it, and thanks for watching. By the way, if you have any suggestions, please tell me. What content do you want to see, or would you like to see, okay? Perhaps I can arrange it. Bye bye.